Afternoon. This video documentation is in regards to the LED seal beams and some troubleshoot, some tips, and then also want to delve in and elaborate and clarify how these LED seal beams are powered and which pins are the grounding negative and which pins are the positive. So one quick thing, for all LED components, they're all polarity sensitive, so if the polarities are mixed and they're not aligned properly, the LEDs will never work. As opposed to what you had originally, the halogen components or halogen seal beams, they're not really polarity sensitive, so either way, however you power the grounding negative or the positive, it can work either way. However, these LEDs, they only power one way. So I want to kind of discuss and share with you which is the grounding negative and which the other two pins are for the positive. So right away, this is actually an H4 connector, which I believe we provide you an H4666 conversion connector, being the case that your car connector does not look like a H4 connector. It'll look like this seal beam connector. So one thing right away is this pin, when you're facing this, it's on my right side. This pin is actually the grounding negative pin, whereas these other two pins are your positive pins. So I have a 12-volt power supply mimicking the car battery. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. I'm going to go ahead and ground this negative right here with this yellow alligator clamp. Once that's done, you'll see that as soon as I apply a power to my positive lead to either pins, that this will light up. And I'm assuming that the dimmer, which is this one, is the low beam. And then the brighter, should be the high beam. So again, this H4 connector really wouldn't matter to you because you won't be able to connect it, but please advise how this conversion harness rewires the wire to its connection to be connecting to yours. So you got the female H4 connector connecting to the male H4 connector right here. That's no problem. So once that's done, follow this pin, which is on the right side. This is the grounding negative pin. You can see that the conversion harness also mimics and corrects, mentioning that this black wire is a grounding negative wire. So follow this black wire from this left side pin. I'm sorry, the right side pin looking at this. Follow this black wire. You'll see that it ends up to this pin right here. So looking at the pin like this, it's this pin that's the grounding negative. So I'm going to go ahead and ground this negative one more time with this yellow alligator clamp, and I'm going to power these two positive pins to show you that this still lights up. So this is the high beam, I'm assuming, the brighter one. This is the low beam. And then again, I'm powering through these two pins. You can see power, power, they both turn on. So the key objective, what I'm asking for you to double check and review on your stock connection is making sure that this pin right here that has the black wire, that pin also on your corresponding female connector that comes in and connects this pin is your grounding negative. If this, by any chance, this pin, when you connect your female connector, your connection, that pin that slides onto this pin, I'm sorry, the pin slot slides onto this pin, if that's a positive, already you have the incorrect polarity alignment. So that's maybe the reason why this LED never works, because your grounding negative is already not aligned with this conversion harness connector. So it is my advisement, if you see a black wire running to the pin that I pointed out on the H4 connector, on this connection, if it doesn't mate or match with your grounding negative pin slot on the female connector, that is the very reason why you're not having the LEDs turn on and the issue that you might be having. So one way, I guess, you can kind of figure out would be actually using a voltmeter, pretty much the positive and negative end, and pretty much inserting into your female headlight connector to figure out which is the grounding negative and which ones are the positive. That way, once you figure out what's the grounding negative, it would be either up to your choice to either remove the pins from this wire, to repin it, to make sure so all the pins is according to your female connector, and once you connect, everything works. Or once you're 100% on the grounding negative on your side, you can either tap splice each of the corresponding wires to your three wires directly, and that way you don't have to figure out or remove this pin and repin everything back. So again, the key point is you need to locate your grounding negative on your female H4666 connector. So once you establish the grounding negative on your female connection, that should pretty much help you to kind of figure out how to get this powered up correctly with the whole polarity alignment corrected. Thank you so much for your time.